Students, welcome to Education for Excellence. In this video, we are going to continue the lesson Union Legislature, Icse Class 10th Civics. In our previous video, we had discussion of the qualification for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members. And today, we are going to discuss the most important topics, that is, how do they work in the parliament? Yes. In the parliament, both the houses are discussed separately on a draft of legislative proposal or a law or a programs which are called bill. A bill is a parliamentary draft where a legislative propose that bill and it is presented for the debate and can become a law if it is passed by both the houses of the parliament and approved by the president. See, here it is a picture of bill. A bill can be introduced by minister or a member of parliament who is not a minister. A bill introduced by a minister is called government bill, while a bill introduced by a member of parliament is called a private member's bill. There are many types of bills: constitutional amendment bill, money bill, financial bill, ordinary bill. Constitutional amendment bill, it is passed to amend the provisions of the constitution. It is introduced under article 368. Money bill, it deals with the money matters. Financial bill, it consists of both money and non-money matters. Ordinary bill is that which are not covered under money bill and financial bill. Such kind of matters we'll discuss in this ordinary bill. Now let us come to know the procedure of passing a bill. A bill undergoes 3 readings in each house of parliament before it is submitted to the president. Approval: if both houses of parliament agree on the content of a bill, it is presented to the president for approval. Once the president approves the bill, it becomes an act of parliament and is a law. If there is disagreement between the two houses, the president can summon a joint sitting of both the houses to resolve the problem. And this situation is called deadlock. Okay, let's relate it to the types of bill. Let's watch a video.
The dimensions we are going to cover are introduction, types of bills, process of legislation for an ordinary bill, and assent of president. So let's begin with a brief introduction first. The legislative procedure is described under Article 107 to 111 of the Indian Constitution. The basic function of Parliament is to make laws, amend them, or repeal them. The process of law making or the legislative process in relation to Parliament may be defined as the process by which a legislative proposal brought before it is translated into the law of the land. All legislative proposals are brought before Parliament in the form of bills. A bill is a statute in draft form and cannot become law unless it has received the approval of both the houses of Parliament and the assent of the President of India. Now let's discuss about the types of bills. First is ordinary bills. As per Articles 107 and 108 of the Indian Constitution, an ordinary bill is concerned with any matter other than financial subjects. An ordinary bill is introduced in either house of the Parliament. This bill is introduced by a minister or a private member. There is no recommendation of the President in the case of ordinary bills. Ordinary bill can be amended or rejected by Rajya Sabha, and it can be detained by Rajya Sabha for a period of 6 months. After being passed by both the houses of Parliament, it is presented to the President for his approval or assent under Article 111 of the Indian Constitution. There is a provision of joint sitting in case of ordinary bills. Next is money bills. Money bills are those bills which are concerned with financial matters like taxation, public expenditure, etc. These are those bills that contain provisions that deal with all or any of the matters specified in Article 110 of the Indian Constitution. This bill is presented only in Lok Sabha and introduced only by the minister. Money bill is introduced only after the President's recommendation. Article 110 further clarifies that in cases where a dispute arises over whether a bill is a money bill or not, the Lok Sabha Speaker's decision on the issue shall be considered final. This bill cannot be amended or rejected by Rajya Sabha. It can be detained by Rajya Sabha for the maximum period of 14 days. Money bill is then sent to the President for his approval only after being passed by the Lok Sabha. There is no provision of joint sitting in case of money bill. Next is financial bills. As per Article 117 of the Indian Constitution, financial bills are those bills which are concerned with financial matters but are different from money bills. Financial bills are further classified as financial bills categories A and B. Category A bills contain provisions dealing with any of the matters specified in subclause A to F of Clause 1 of Article 110 of the Indian Constitution. And Category B bills involve expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India. Next is Constitution Amendment Bills. Article 368 of the Indian Constitution is concerned with the provisions of amendment of the Constitution. As per the procedure laid down in the Constitution, Constitution Amendment Bills can be of three types, viz. Requiring a simple majority for their passage in each house, requiring special majority for their passage in each house, that is, a majority of the total membership of a house and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of that house present and voting, Article 368. Requiring special majority for their passage and ratification by legislatures of not less than 1/2 of the states by resolutions to that effect passed by those legislators, provision to Clause 2 of Article 368. A Constitution Amendment Bill under Article 368 can be introduced either House of Parliament and has to be passed by each House by special majority. There is no provision of joint sittings on a money bill or a Constitution amending bill. Lastly, Ordinance Replacing Bill. This bill is brought before Parliament to replace an ordinance with or without modifications promulgated by the President under Article 123 of the Indian Constitution. Now let's discuss the process of legislation for an ordinary bill. In first house, first reading. The ordinary bill can be introduced in either house by a minister or other member. Upon grant of leave by house, the member reads the title and objectives, but no discussion happens on this bill at this stage. Following this, the bill is published in Gazette. Second reading. At this stage, the detailed scrutiny of the bill happens and the bill takes full. It has three sub-stages. First is stage of general discussion. The principles of the bill and its provisions are discussed generally, but the details of the bill are not discussed. Second stage is committee stage. The usual practice is to refer the bill to a select committee of the House. This committee examines the bill thoroughly and in detail, clause by clause. It can also amend its provisions, but without altering the principles underlying it. After completing the scrutiny and discussion, the committee reports the bill back to the House. Next stage is consideration stage. The House, after receiving the bill from the select committee, considers the provisions of the bill clause by clause. Each clause is discussed and voted upon separately. The members can also move amendments and if accepted, they become part of the bill. Third reading. No amendments are allowed anymore and either bill is completely accepted or, if the majority accepts, it is passed and transmitted to the second house. Now in second house, bill goes through all three stages and House may pass the bill as sent by the first House, that is, without amendments, or pass the bill with amendments and return it to the first House for reconsideration, or reject the bill altogether, or not take any action and thus keep the bill pending up to 6 months. If the second House passes the bill without any amendments or the first House accepts the amendments suggested by the second House, the bill is deemed to have been passed by both the Houses and the same is sent to the President for his assent. On the other hand, if the first House rejects the amendments suggested by the second House, or the second House rejects the bill altogether, or the second House does not take any action for 6 months, a deadlock is deemed to have taken place. To resolve such a deadlock, the President can summon a joint sitting of the two Houses. Now moving on to the joint sitting. If the majority of the members present and voting in the joint sitting approves the bill is deemed to have been passed by both the Houses. Not all bills can be referred to a joint sitting of the Parliament. There are two exceptions: Money Bill under Article 110 and Constitution Amendment Bill under Article 368. Now lastly, let's discuss the assent of President. Every bill after being passed by both Houses of Parliament, either singly or at a joint sitting, is presented to the President for his assent. There are three alternatives before the President. He may give his assent to the bill, or he may withhold his assent to the bill, or he may return the bill for reconsideration of the Houses. If the President gives his assent to the bill becomes an act and is placed on the statute book. If the President withholds his assent to the bill, it ends and does not become an act. And if the President returns the bill for reconsideration, and if it is passed by both the Houses, again with or without amendments, and presented to the President for his assent, the President must give his assent to the bill. Thus, the President enjoys only a suspensive veto. So that's all for today.
So, dear friends, I hope I am clear with the concept of bill. Now, we are going to discuss the most important topic in this lesson, that is, on what procedure the Parliament works. Parliament works on base of parliamentary procedure. The first parliamentary procedure is session. Session in the sense meeting. The period of meeting is called session. There are three sessions. One, budget session, which will held in the month of February to May. Monsoon session, July to August. Winter session, November to December. Each house shall meet twice in a year and the interval must be less than 6 months. Parliament works on the base of parliamentary procedure. Already I told you this. Under this, the second parliamentary procedure is quorum. Minimum number of members are required to transact a meeting or its business, which must be 1/10. For example, if the strength of the house is 580, then 58 members are required to transact the business. Next procedure is question hour. First hour of every working day of house, which is reserved to ask questions. This hour is called question hour. There are three types of questions: one, starred question; two, unstarred question; and third one is short notice question. Starred questions: here, members wish to have an oral answer on the floor of the House, and supplementary questions can be asked by the members. Unstarred questions: answers are given in written form where no supplementary questions can be asked. Short notice questions are those which are related to a matter of urgent importance. Such questions are asked with a notice shorter than a period of 10 days. Next parliamentary procedure is 0 hour, the period which begins at 12 pm and would not be extended for more than 1 hour, in which member can raise any questions. Next most important topic of this lesson is motions. First, we will discuss no confidence motion. It is a proposal expressing lack of confidence in the ministry. Union ministers shall be collectively responsible to the parliament if they remain in the office as long as they enjoy the confidence of majority members in Lok Sabha. The moment they lose this confidence, the vote of no confidence is passed against them. Then they have to quit the office. It can passed by opposition party only. Second kind of motion is adjournment motion. It means a proposal to lay aside all other business and take up a definite matter of urgent importance. Motion for adjournment is aimed at censuring the acts of omission and commission of ministers. The following are some of the occasions on which adjournment motions were allowed in the past. For example, death of several persons due to the consumption of unlicensed liquor, or killing of a senior officers, whether it be IAS or IPS, in a place of worship or any other, etc. Here we got an example where Congress MPs give adjournment motion notice in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha over Kashmir's issue. Other kind of motion is censure motion. It is an expression of lack of confidence in minister. The House condemns the conduct and personal feelings of a minister found guilty of indulging in corruption. The Parliament exercises its control over the government by other motion which, if passed, amount to no confidence. They included the motion of censure against a minister, rejection of a government bill, or passing of a private member's bill against the wishes of the government, etc. We got an example where opposition moves a censure motion against Prayag Thakur in Lok Sabha, demands unconditional apology for her God's say comment, and moved a censure motion against her. It was happened in the year 2019, November 28. Cut motion. Actually, it is not important as per your syllabus. A motion that passes a symbolic reduction of 1 rupee to the demands for the grant in the budget is called cut motion. Dear children, in our next video, we are going to discuss the powers and functions of the parliament. Under this, we are going to study about legislative, financial, executive, electoral, judicial, constitutional, and other powers of the parliament. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, share, and like Education for Excellence. We will meet in the next video.